Hello, this is Swan. Hope you're having a lovely pandemic. I appreciate you taking a moment of time to spend some time with me, do something healthy for yourself. Um, I'm not typically a person that teaches via video. I don't look down on that. I think any way that somebody learns is great, but I typically teach in person. Due to the current situation, that's not really the best idea right now. So we're going to go ahead and tackle this. And this is a reactionary video. It's a reactionary situation to the coronavirus epidemic. So I'm going to talk a little bit about a TaiChi posture and how the deep breathing and meditative breathing and a certain type of martial arts breathing called Ching. I'm going to talk about how those can help you uh, stay healthy during this pandemic. Uh, the deep breathing is going to help boost your immune system, and then there's going to be some other things hopefully you don't get sick, but if you do get sick, I'm going to show you how Tai Chi breathing can help you through it. I do want to say that I have no medical training. I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a personal trainer. I am not a nutritionist. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. I merely want to talk about how Tai Chi can help you. I don't mean to, anything that I say as a wandering thought, please look at it critically. And, whatever your doctor says to do is always best. So let me get past that little disclaimer there. But Tai Chi breathing. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about a posture. Tai Chi is built upon different postures. You put those postures together, and that can make a form. But in order to get into a deep breathing state or a meditative state, you really only need one posture. So I'm going to focus on one very simple posture. It's called brush knee. And we're going to let our weight drift to the side. Hand will come up, and the hands are going to brush as you come to toe. Both actions happen at the same time. Heel to toe step and a gentle push with the upper hand. The other hand as though resting on a desktop. Straighten the front leg. And then let the weight drift over to this side. The hands brush. Heel to toe step. Gentle push. Go ahead and do this with me a couple of times. Breathe deeply in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Typically, I don't breathe this noisily. In Tai Chi, typically we keep our breathing very silent. You breathe without making a lot of noise. But for instructional purposes, I'm going to make a little bit of noise so that you hopefully understand a little bit better what I'm trying to convey. Straighten the leg, let the weight drift to that leg, brush, heel to toe step, gentle push. Let's go ahead and do one more on each side. We'll go ahead and sink the chi. Deep inhale. Raise the arms to your comfort level. Slow and even exhale. Okay, I'm going to come over a little closer so that I can speak to breathing and hopefully hopefully you can see my chest moving. As you breathe, try to maintain good posture. You don't want to be rigid, but you want your head to almost float and have the shoulders relaxed, but good posture, spine straight. And deep breathing is going to entail this long, slow inhale. So you don't want to and fill your lungs that way because you can't really fill them as completely as you can if you take a moment. Let me try to do this without talking. Deep and full inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth, tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now, as you inhale, you don't want to gasp all that air in all at once. You want to intake very slowly and steadily for a long period of time. So. Now, these are the deep, even breaths that we use to completely fill our lung capacity. After you inhale, go ahead and hesitate for just a second or two, and then slowly exhale. We'll try that a couple of times. And hold. Okay, now that's the deep inhale and the full and even exhale. You want to fill your lungs, slowly inhale evenly, hold it for a couple of seconds, exhale completely. And something that a friend of mine likes to try to do is after they inhale and they hold it for a split second, try to inhale just a little bit more. After you exhale completely, try to expel just a little bit more. So that's the deep breathing. And what the deep breathing is going to help you with is it's going to give a boost to your immune system. So that's the priority with that. I'm going to show you another type of breathing that's maybe not so much associated with Tai Chi, but it's associated with a lot of martial arts. It's called Ching. And you inhale deeply and evenly. And as you exhale, rather than have just this slow even, you want this throaty so my daughter's tapping on the window, so sorry if you can hear that banging. She's 4 years old, forgive her. Go away. Slow and even inhale. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now, a medical person or a clinical person might describe that as huffing. Huffing is good for if you find yourself sick, and in all likelihood, several of us are going to get some sort of respiratory illness, maybe not the corona, maybe the flu or any number of things. But obviously what we're concerned about is the coronavirus right now. And if you get it, you want the effects to be as minimal as possible. So you want to breathe deeply and fill your lungs, and then exhale and kind of move some of that junk, some of that buildup phlegm. Your lungs will be taking in more fluid than they're expelling. So you want to move that fluid around, because when it stays static, that's when little buggies are going to get it. It's going to become bacterial or any other kind of icky nasty. So you want to move that stuff around with the deep breathing, and then with the huffing or the Sanchin, you're going to try to help your body be productive with your coughing. So this deep breathing combined with the Sanchin is going to be important for you if you find yourself sick in the next 2 or 3 months, or however long this goes for. So the other thing too is you need to start practicing deep breathing and Sanchin right now if you're healthy. This needs to be something that you're doing 3 or 4 times a day with intention. As far as repetitions, 10 to 15. Now, these are numbers, they're guidelines. There's nothing that's steadfast. You are the foremost expert on what you can do and what you're comfortable doing. But what I'm saying is that right now, this needs to be added to your routine to give your immune system a boost and to prepare you in the event that you do get sick. You want to be able to do this breathing in a very productive way. If you do find yourself sick, you need to dial it down. One of the big priorities if you're sick is to rest. And too much of this breathing can spend a lot of energy. You don't want to spend too much. You want to dial it down as you start becoming symptomatic. But as long as you're well and as long as you're healthy, you need to get on this right now. This needs to be something that you're doing. The numbers that I throw out are guidelines. You need to challenge yourself with this, and you need to get good at it fast. And then if you start becoming symptomatic, or you start experiencing cold or flu-like symptoms, you dial it down to a level that you're comfortable. You don't want to make yourself tired, but you want to keep doing it. And as those symptoms increase, you continuously dial it down until perhaps maybe you're just doing it a couple of times a day and it's just a couple of deep breaths, but you're doing something. Even though you're sick as all get out, at least you're moving some of that phlegm, and something like the flu is less likely to become pneumonia or any other number of terrible side effects from respiratory illness. So let's go ahead and review real quick the deep breathing. Breathe in through the nose. Hold for a couple seconds. Out through the mouth. Tongue on the roof of the mouth. Now, in the event that you're sick, you might just relax for a second. And then deep inhale. And then we'll throw in Sanchin. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to combine this breathing with the posture, brush knee. I'm going to go ahead and hop up, and hopefully I haven't put my legs to sleep. Doing the little seiza stance there. Alrighty. So we're going to let the weight drift, and the hands will brush as the toe comes in. We're already inhaling slowly through the nose. Heel the toe step and begin your exhale. straighten the leg. Let the weight drift to that leg. Hands brush. Inhale through the nose. Heel to toe step. Exhale through the mouth. We're going to do another with deep breathing. And then one with Sanchin. That was not a very good Sanchin. It needs to be a little bit more huffy than what I just did. There I go. We'll go ahead and do a deep breath. And then we'll throw in a Sanchin. And now Sanchin. Do a couple of deep breathing and then Sanchin. And one Sanchin. One more deep breath just to round it out. Okay, so that's what I want you to start doing right away. It is imperative that you get in shape right now with the deep breathing combined with the Sanchin. Do 2 deep breaths and then 1 Sanchin, 2 deep breaths, 1 Sanchin. Go back and forth. Now, if you become symptomatic, you want to dial that back. You can dial it back in a number of different ways. The number of repetitions that you do, whether or not you actually do the brush knee with it. You can just sit in a chair and do a couple of deep breaths and then a Sanchin. Perhaps in challenging yourself and working out, you become comfortable with doing 2 deep breaths and then 1 Sanchin, and doing that 10, 15 times or something like that, 3 or 4 times a day. Guidelines, you're the foremost expert on your body. But let's say that you get to that level and then you start getting symptomatic. Well, you take down the number of repetitions and possibly consider taking the brush knee out of it and just doing the deep breaths. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and model that real quick. Imagine that I'm sitting comfortably on a chair and not in seiza on a hard deck. I'm fine. So deep inhale. Deep inhale. Hold for a couple seconds. And now Sanchin. Something else that you might consider is taking a deep breath, rest, take a deep breath, rest for a second, do a Sanchin, rest for a second. That's another way that you can dial it back should you get symptomatic. I think the magic number is you want to be able to do this about 3 times, a couple of times a day, should you become full bore sick, and then you don't want to do any more than that. You don't want to tire yourself out. I may not know much, but I know that rest is very important when you're sick. So let's go ahead and model those breaks. So, deep inhale. And I'll take a break here for a second. And then deep inhale. Take a break for a second. Deep inhale. And that was a Sanchin breath. And then you rest. You consider whether or not you're wearing yourself out. And that's how you're going to use deep breathing and Sanchin and TaiChi to help you get through this pandemic. Thank you for taking the time. I hope you are well. Feel free to reach out to me at swanmishler@yahoo.com if you have any particular questions about the video or anything in general. Let's all be well. Take care, y'all.